Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, we need some light weights. Anything 5 pounds or under is perfect. You can do the entire class without weights should you choose, or you can pick and choose as you go through when you want to use them. We're going to focus a lot on unilateral movement, so we'll move our right side with our left and vice versa to get a great full body workout. We'll get started seated, cross-legged with your legs just slightly spaced away from your body, and your hands can be resting on your knees. And just think about sitting up nice and tall, finding your rib cage stacked on top of your pelvis and your head on top of your spine. And then just nod your chin down towards your chest. And then think about sort of sweeping your chin along your collarbone, and then twist your head so that your ear comes towards your right shoulder, getting a little stretch through that left side. And then bring your chin back towards your collarbone, sweep it down around into the other side. And then bring your ear towards your shoulder again. And then chin towards your collarbone, back down one more time over to the right. And then rotate your head, get that stretch. And rotate it back down along the collarbone, over to the right, or left rather. And then rotate to look in front of you. And down, and then all the way to the center. And then just think about lengthening up through the crown of your head to sit up nice and tall. And then from here, just come onto all fours. Start with your hands slightly wider than your shoulders, and your hands are under your shoulders, knees behind your hips. And then just find a nice long spine here. And then just sit back, keeping yourself at a nice neutral, or as neutral as you can. Again, hands a little wider than the shoulders. And then come back up into your tabletop. And then again, keep thinking about that length. Your tailbone reaches back behind you as you sit back into sort of a modified child's pose here. And then coming back up. 2 more like this. And then back up. Last one. And then come all the way up. From here, you're going to take a nice big inhale. Feel your ribs expand wide to the side. And then exhale, draw your hips up towards your rib cage, round your spine. Holding in a nice rounded position here, you're going to do the same thing. Come back into that little modified child's pose and a round back. And then feel your heels of your hands drag back towards your knees as you come into that cat position up tall. And then again, round down. Hips go back towards your heels. And stay rounded as you come back up. And then again, back down. Head is nice and heavy. Not really holding any tension in it. Last time. And then come all the way forward. And then uncurl your spine. Find that neutral. And then find a little bit of extra distance between your ribs and your hips. Lengthen through the front of the collarbone and the body. Feel your heels of your hands drop back towards your knees, engaging through the side of your body and your armpits. And then press the floor away, round up. And then find that extra distance between the ribs and the hips. Shoulders are relaxed. And then press through the floor, round up towards the ceiling. One more time. And then round up. And then find yourself in a nice neutral position here. And you're just gonna hike your right hip up towards your right hip towards your right shoulder. And then look over that shoulder. And then think about lengthening through the sitting bone to come back to neutral. And then hike the left hip up by your left shoulder. So thinking about finding a little bit of extra length through that right side. And then extra length through that left side as you come to neutral. And then hike that right hip up. So that hip isn't dipping, it's just reaching up towards the rib cage, towards the shoulder, and finding a little extra length on that opposite side. And then back to neutral, one more time to each side. So you have that tiny little C curve, and then back to the center, and then just that hip hikes on the left, little extra stretch through that right side. And then back to the center. Good. From here, you're going to let your sternum drop towards the ground. Let your shoulder blades come towards your spine. And then press through the floor. Feel the shoulder blade side away from the spine as you lift. And then again, let them slide towards one another. And lift. And then the shoulders protract. And then a lift. 3 more. 2. Just getting the shoulders and the spine moving, especially maybe you got out of bed 10 minutes ago. And lift. Last one. Get it. And then tuck the toes under. Again, you can keep your hands a little wide, but make sure your knees are right underneath your hips here. And you're going to reach through the heels and then don't curl. Keep the tailbone neutral and then lift the knees up on your exhale. Taking a big inhale here and exhale. 2 more breaths, holding yourself in a nice neutral pelvis. Head is nice and long. Last one. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Good. Do it 1 more of those little sternum drops. Let your shoulder blades come in towards your spine. Press up. Find yourself in a nice neutral. Feel the heels of the hands draw back towards the knees, engaging through the armpit. Inhale. Exhale. Lift through those knees. And then from here, you're going to let your shoulder blades slide in towards your spine and then press. Keeping those knees lifted for 8. 7. 6. Neck is nice and long. Make sure you're not dipping your head down. 4. Ribs come with you. 3. 2. And last one. Lower your knees all the way down. Bring them nice and wide, toes together. Reach your hands all the way forward. And then sit back for a nice child's pose. And then shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. And then on an exhale, just let them fall open, relax them. Try to find a little bit of space across the upper back, maybe even through the collarbone, and try to sink a little closer towards the floor. 2 more breaths. Last one. Good, and then come all the way up. Bring both hands over towards the right. So you're in a nice side bend here. Knees are underneath your hips, still facing forward. And then they're going to curl the tailbone under, lift up. And then find a little bit of length. Find space across the collarbone as you lengthen your spine through the arms. Maybe you get a little nice stretch through the left oblique. And then curl the spine up around. And then lengthen through the tailbone. Find that extension. 2 more. Good. And again, not dipping into your low back, really finding that space across the front of your body as you round. 1 more time. And last one, keep reaching evenly back with both hips. Good. And then walk your hands over to the left. Again, knees face forward, hips stay facing forward. Curl the tailbone under, round through the spine. And then find that bit of extension. Opening up through the collarbones. Make sure you're not hyperextending your elbows. And you're really pressing down through the whole hand. 1 or 2, or I guess 2 more will be even. We did 4 on the other side. And find that stretch. Last one, press up around the spine. And then find length as you open. Good. And then from here, come to sit with your feet in front of you. And you will grab your weights. As always, if you choose not to use the weights, you can skip them, drop them at any time, use just one of them, whatever works for you. You can move your arms so you don't need to hold the weights, not necessary. So from here, sitting up nice and tall, Again, ribs over your hips and then head in line with your spine. Make sure it's not starting to jut forward or lean back. And then we'll reach the arms out in front of you. Legs stay nice and still. And then you're just going to think about opening the arms just a few inches with a soft elbow. And then feel your ribs close, your abs wrap as you bring your arms back in. And then open the arms out to the sides. And then exhale, bring it in. Just 4 more. We're going to add on 3, 2, keeping a nice still torso. Last one. And from here, you're going to rotate your palms towards the ceiling. Bring your hands back by your torsos. Curl your tailbone under. Think about keeping length through the front of the head as you curl back, and then you're going to reach your arms forward. You can straighten your legs and move from bent to straight at any point. And then you're going to untuck your tailbone round, or lift up rather, as you bend the elbows back in by your side. And then curl the tailbone under. Think about reaching your sacrum towards the ground. Extend your arms. And then bend your elbows in. Come back to sit up nice and tall. And then again, reach it, round down. And then pull back as you lift. 6 more. Thinking about shortening the distance between the ribs and the hips in the front. Feeling the wrap of the ribs. Support of your core as you come back. And a nice open collarbone. So think about arms at least as wide as the shoulders, if not slightly wider. And lift. 2 more. And last one. Good, hold here. You're going to bend the elbows in and then extend. And then bend in and extend. 6 more. And extend, bend, and extend. 4 more. Again, keeping your collarbone nice and wide. Thinking about opening through the elbow rather than pushing out in front of you. Wrists are nice and strong. And last one. Keep the arms long, rotate the palms towards your body, and then open out. And feel that continual engagement as you bring the arms in and out. Make sure you're still breathing. Inhale as you open the arms out. Exhale as you bring them in. Collarbone nice and open. Elbows soft. 2. And last one. Good. And then from here, bend the elbows. Bring them in. And then reach them long as you sit up nice and tall. From here, you're just going to have your arms out in front of you. Legs still out in front of you. And you're going to curl the tailbone under, round down 1 vertebrae at a time. Reach the arms only so far overhead that your back ribs stay on the floor. And then you're going to bring your arms back. Once they cross into your periphery, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Draw the ribs towards the hips as you round all the way up. Reach the weights over the legs. And then curl yourself back down 1 vertebrae at a time. Ribs towards your hips, sacrum down. And then slowly release the rest of your body. Arms overhead, ribs stay connected. And then nod the chin. Reach through the arms, reach through the heels. Legs go away from you as you roll up. And as you roll back down, your legs slide back with you. Sacrum down, ribs, head. Arms overhead. We're going to do 2 more. Let the weight sort of counteract the weights in your hands, counteract the weight of your torso. Rounding back down, open through the front of the hips. And make that very first little lift up a tiny bit easier. Last one. Reach over the arms, and then this time you're going to roll all the way down, and you will stay down. Make sure your head is on the mat, though. And then bend one knee in, and bend the other knee in. Arms can stay right in line with your shoulders. And then you're just going to rotate the palms to press in. If you'd like, reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. If not, just hold on to the weights, however is comfortable. Making sure that your wrist is nice and straight and you're not bending it with the weights falling out to the side. From here, let the weights make your shoulders or your arms rather, nice and heavy in the shoulder socket. Shoulder blades are fully flush to the floor. From here, just like we did the scapula push-up on all fours, you're going to reach those weights towards the ceiling, slide your shoulder blades away from your spine, and then let the weights help glide your arms back down. And then reaching up, and let them glide back down. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. And then rotate the palms to face away from you. And then you're going to let the arms both fall back overhead, keeping your torso nice and still. And then resist to bring them back up. So inhale as they fall overhead, ribs stay flush to the mat, and then exhale, bring them back in line with your shoulders. And then again, let them gently fall overhead. And back up. 4 more. Make sure your arms haven't started to come in any narrower. You want to make sure that they have space, and so does your collarbone. You're not really closing off your chest here. Last 2. And last one. Good. And then lower. You're going to bring your right leg up into tabletop, and take a big inhale. Exhale. Bring the left leg up to meet it. You can leave your arms where they are, or you can bring your arms all the way to the ground to give yourself a little bit of extra support, your choice. Taking a big inhale, you're going to exhale as you lower your right leg down towards the floor, and then resist to bring it back up. We're going to stay on the right side. So you're thinking about reaching that thigh down, and then resist to bring it back up. Not worrying about how close the foot is to the ground, or how close the foot is to the glute. So you can be like this as well. The closer towards 90 you are, the longer your lever, the harder this will be. You want to make sure your hips are nice and square, and you are initiating your breath before you move. Two more. Last one. Good. And then this time, as you lower your arm, or your leg rather, you're going to lower your left arm by your side, and then you're going to punch it up towards the ceiling as you bring that leg back up. And then resist the arm and leg down. Reach up. So that elbow is just bending gently by your side, just skimming the floor, and then press up. 3 more. Think about the movement initiating from the thigh, just gliding that femur through the hip socket. Last one. Good, pause the top. That right leg is going to fall out to the side, left leg stays still. Resist to bring it back in. If you would like, you can drop your left foot to the floor to give you a little bit more stability here. You can also lower your both arms or just the right. Keeping that left side nice and heavy so that your knee remains over your hip. 2 more. And last one. Good, pause here. That arm is going to come out to the side and then back in. It doesn't need to be a big movement. I have the wall in my way, but it's actually a good thing. It's not letting me go beyond where I can stay connected. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure they haven't crept up towards your ears. They're in a nice neutral position. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good, pause here. Flex the feet, and then extend the right leg long, and then resist to bring it back in. And then extend that leg long, and resist to bring it back in. thinking about having a rubber band from the right heel to the right sitting bone, and you want to extend it so that it comes flush with the back of that right leg. And then you want to resist and bend it in so that it doesn't snap. 2 more. I'm sure you can't guess where this is going. We're going to move our arm with our leg next. Last one. Left arm overhead and resist to bring it back in. We're only going to do 5 like this, and then we're going to do 5 moving that right arm. 2. Ribs stay flush to the mat. Last one. Good. Right arm, right leg. Same movement with the arm. Just noticing how this changes your stability, challenges your balance, and that core a little bit. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. Keep the arms where they are. Lower the right leg down. Lower the left. And then from here, curl the tailbone under, round the spine up towards the ceiling. Feel the heels draw up towards your shoulders. Pausing here in a bridge, and then peel yourself all the way back down. And then curl the tailbone under, round yourself back up. And then lower back down. And 2 more just like this. Again, lower your arms down as you need. Make sure though they haven't started creeping in towards the center line. You want to keep them over the shoulder. And then this next time you're going to come up and you're going to pause. Good. Finding a nice comfortable height with the hips. Same with the feet. Make sure that they're a nice comfortable distance from your body. You want the whole back line working here. And then with your hands or weights in your hands, you're going to bend your elbows by your side and press up. And bend them in. And lift. 6 more. 5. Creating resistance. Even though these weights aren't very light, your whole body's working here. They give a little extra instability. 2. Last one. Pause at the top. Soft elbow, open out towards the side and bring it in. And open. Make sure your arms are going out the same distance. You may feel the shoulder blades slide in a little towards your spine and then open. That's great. Check in with that lower body, heels drawing towards your shoulders. 2 more. And last one. Good, and then palms face away from you, both arms overhead, and resist to bring them all the way down to your hips. And lift up, overhead ever so slightly, and then resist towards the hips. And lift. 3 more. Ribs stay down. They're still drawn towards one another. That distance between your ribs and your hips is a little bit shorter than if you were in neutral. Last one. Arms come up in line with your shoulders, and then peel yourself all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Go ahead, reset yourself on the floor. And from here, you're going to bring your left leg into tabletop, right leg up to meet it. Moving the left leg now, you're going to tap that toe towards the floor, and then resist to bring it back up. Arms are right over your shoulder, wrists are nice and strong. Right leg stays nice and still. Shoulder blades are nice and heavy on the mat. 4 more. Again, think about that initiation coming from the thigh, and then think about rolling that femur in the hip socket, reaching the sitting bone long to bring that leg back up. 2 more. And last one. Good. And then from here, lower the leg as you lower the arm down, and then press the arm towards the ceiling. find that bend in the elbow, 90 degrees, and then resist, press it up. And back down. And lift 3 more. It's hard to move them both at the same rate. If you can, try. Last one. Good. From here, you are rolling that femur in the hip socket out to the side, and then feel that inner thigh draw in and back down to the midline to bring your leg back in. Little lift of the pelvic floor. Four more. Again, drop your weights if you need. Or the modification is that right leg down. On the floor, you can also drop your heel by your butt and think about that knee moving. Last one. Good, and then let that right arm elbow open softly out to the side and back in. That half hugged tree motion we were doing before on roll downs. 4 more. 3, right hip is heavy. Last one. Good. Flex the feet. Arms stay still. Reach that left leg nice and slowly through space and then resist to bring it back in. You can think like you have a single strap on that left leg, you're on the reformer, or you have a resistance band on it, and you're just extending, creating that tension, and then resist to bring it back in. 4 more. 3, knee on the right side is in line with your hip. On the left, that arm, or rather that knee and foot are in line with the hip. Last one. Good, and then here, right arm, left leg for 5. 4, make sure that arm doesn't cross the midline. 3. 2. Feeling that little X across the front of your body. And the right armpit all the way down into that left inner thigh. 2. Sorry, this is the last one. Left arm, left leg for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Lower the right leg down. Lower the left. And then lift the hips back up. Curl the tailbone under. Find length through the low back as you lift yourself up into a nice bridge here. You're going to bend the elbows down towards the sides. Use the backs of your arms here to find a nice supported position through the upper body. And then you're just going to lower the hips down an inch or 2, and then lift. And then lower, and lift. Thinking about knees reaching over toes, hips in line, nice and square for 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Shoulder blades stay on the floor. Last one. Now press the arms up as you lift the hips. Lower the arms as you lower the hips. And press. And press. 4 more. The congestion is sitting in. 2. Last one. Bring your arms together. You can put both weights into your hand, into both hands, or you can hold on to just one weight. And you're going to dip your hip over to the right and then square it off. And dip to the right and square. So left hip lifts as that right one lowers. Weight is even through the feet. Good. 3 more. 2. And last one. Dip it over to the left and up. And dip and lift for 5. 4. Keep reaching long through the knees. 3. 2. And last one. Get over to the right. Let your arms come overhead and then square your hips. Bring the arms in line with your torso. And let them fall overhead as that right hip dips and square. for 6. 5, creating a little instability across the midline. 3, 2, last one. Over to the other side, arms come overhead as you dip to the left. And up, 4 more. Making sure your knees don't tip all the way over to the left side. Last one. Good, separate the arms, bring them all the way down by your sides, bring your weights out of the way. And then hands on the floor, really press down and then curl the tailbone under, try to get a little bit more space in the low back, and then bring one knee into your chest and the other in to meet it. And then gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then from here, you're gonna extend your right leg long, and then your left. If you wanna grab your weights, go for it. Hands reach overhead, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up once those arms hit your periphery, and then reach forward over your legs and round yourself forward. Good, you're gonna come over onto your right side. And you're gonna take just one weight with you. You don't need the other one for the moment. Actually, you probably won't need both again for the rest of class. You're gonna come onto your forearm and then have your knees in line, so you're in a nice modified, nothing at the moment, but we will be going into a modified side plank. So to start, you're just gonna have your hands on top of your hips, feet stay together, and you're just gonna externally rotate through the top leg. Heels are in line with your butt, but a little bit separated away, and open and back down. 6 more. 5. Pressing that right arm into the floor so that you're lifted. You're not sinking down. You don't want your elbow up by your shoulder. You're nice and supported through that underside of your body. And then think about drawing that arm a little closer towards your body to create resistance through the armpit. 2. And last one. Good. From here, lift that leg up in line with your hip, knee and foot and hip all in the same line, or just under hip length, and then hip height, and then extend that leg long, and then resist to bring it back in. Head is more or less in line with your spine. If you need to look down at your legs, obviously, go for it, but try to stay in alignment. 4 more. 3. 2. And last one, leave that leg long, lower it all the way down. And then from here, you're gonna grab onto your weight, and you're gonna have your arm in line, palm facing down, hand in line with your forearm, which is just gently resting on the hip. From here, you're just gonna externally rotate as far open as feels comfortable, and then you're gonna internally rotate towards your body. And then you're gonna bring it to the center, and then up, and then all the way back down. And you're thinking that you just have like a little bowl here on your hip, and that elbow is just gently moving and rotating through it. Wrist stays strong. 4 more. If this is uncomfortable with the top leg, you can bend it back in. 2. Working all those small muscles through that shoulder. Last one. Good. Bring that hand just to that neutral position, hand in line with the forearm, and then you're going to lift that top leg and then lower down. And lift. And lower, holding that left arm nice and still for 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And last one. Bend that leg in. And you're going to externally rotate as you extend the leg long, and then bring it back in. And externally rotate, extend, and in. Your left leg is not resting on that left leg. You're keeping it at hip height for 4. 3. And last one. Good. Now bring that leg down. Bring your weight down to the ground. You're going to shake out that left arm for a second and then roll over onto your stomach. Have your shoulders right underneath your hands right underneath your shoulders rather. Your nose is just gently grazing the ground. And then check in with your hips. Find that length through the low back. Maybe that means you're pressing your pubic bone and your hip bones into the floor. You want to make sure that you have a nice solid base through the pelvis here. And then think about rolling a little marble away with the tip of your nose as you come up into that extension. Once you're lifted, you can take a second to find a nice connected position here. Your hands are on the ground. Feel them slide back towards your hips. Maybe you got a little extra height, a little release through the low back. And then slowly lower all the way back down. And then again, inhale here. Exhale. Think about rolling that marble away as you lift, connected through the arms and the back. And lower all the way back down. 2 more. Think about that extension really coming from that mid back rather than the low back. You may not get very high. It's totally fine. And today may be totally different than tomorrow. Last time, roll that little marble away as you lift. And then exhale. Lower all the way back down. Roll over onto your right side one more time. Heels in line with your butt, knees stacked. Grab onto that weight. You're going to place the weight on your hip, and you're going to lift your hips up into a side plank, and then lower back down. And then lift and lower. You can also do this with your left leg extended, whatever variation is more comfortable for you. You can also alternate between the two. For 3, 2, last one. Lower all the way down. Extend your arms straight out in front of you. Open it up towards the ceiling, and then resist back down. And then open up towards the ceiling, and resist. For 4, 3. Making sure that hand isn't coming back behind your torso, and you're not rotating either. Last one. Pause with the arm in the front. You're going to lift your hips as you lift your arm, lower your hips. For 5. And down. Nice and controlled. 4, 3, 2. And last one. Good. Lower all the way down. Reach the arm up towards the ceiling. Rotate the palm away from you and then lower the arm down towards your hip and then lift up and back down and lift. Again, that arm isn't coming above shoulder height now, and you're really resisting down through the armpit for 3, 2, and last one. Pause with the arm up, lift the hips, keeping the hips lifted here, whatever variation of side plank you'd like. Lower the arm for 8, 7, 6. Hips are square to the front. 4, 3, 2. And last one. Lower that arm. Lower yourself all the way down. Use the weight of the arm to side bend all the way up and over towards the left. Reach through that right hand and then twist and rotate towards the floor. And then come back to that side bend. And then lower the arm and you're going to come onto the other side. So starting with a little clamshell here just to find our positioning. Heels in line with your glutes. Hips are stacked. You want to make sure that the distance between your ribs and your hips on the right and left is more or less the same. Find that connection through the underside of that left armpit. Pressing down into the floor. For 4. Excuse me. 3, 2. And last one. Lift the leg all the way to hip height, knee and foot all at the same height, and extend it long. and resist to bring it back in. And extend and bring it back in. 5 more. Neck is nice and long. 4. Again, think that distance, or rather the rubber band between your heel and your glute. You don't want to snap yourself in the back of the leg. 2. And last one. Lower that leg down and lift for 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. Not coming above hip height. 2. And last one. Lower that leg all the way down. Go ahead and grab onto that weight. Keeping the weight in line with your knee, in line with your elbow. You're going to reach it up towards the ceiling, externally rotate, and then resist down to internally rotate. And lift. And lower. I missed one. Don't worry. We're going to do extra of the lift and lower on the right side. Sorry. 3. 2. And last one. Hold that arm in parallel. Lift that left leg, extend it long, tap it down for 8, 7, 6, hand in line with the elbow for 4, 3, 2, last one. Bend that knee in, externally rotate, lower down to neutral as you extend the leg, and open, and bend, and extend. Just like you're opening, or your arm is a book rather. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good, lower all the way down. Bring that weight off to the side. And you're gonna come down onto your stomach one last time. We're going to do another set of 4 of those little baby swans. But this time, we're going to start with our hands back by our side, palms up, chin to one side. First off, find that connection, that weight through your pelvis, the length through the lower back. And then you're going to externally rotate through the arms, lift the palms. And then from here, reach the palms back, gently slide your arms down toward your toes as you lift into that extension. Lower yourself all the way down, round through the chest, lower down. Externally rotate through the shoulders. Lift the arms, reach back, gently lift the torso. Lower all the way down, let those shoulders round forward. Externally rotate the arms, lift through the palms, reach and lift. One more time, over to the right cheek. And then externally rotate, lift, and reach. Good. Hands underneath your shoulders, and then you're going to press yourself up and come over to the right side one last time. Weight in your hand, you're going to rest it on your hip, and you're going to lift yourself up and down. Again, your knees can be stacked, or that leg can be out in line with your body, your choice. Think like you have a little sling underneath, and you're lifting yourself up for 4, 3, then we're going to add in the arms, 2, last one, lower all the way down, reach that arm out and long in front of you, lift it up towards the ceiling. Again, it doesn't come back behind you, and the torso stays forward. You're not rotating open. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. This time you're going to pause with that arm at the top. Rotate the palm away from you, lower the arm toward your hip, and lift, and lower, and lift. If you feel any popping in your shoulder, make your range of motion smaller, or drop your weight altogether. You can also bring your arm a little bit farther in front of you. 3 more, and then we will add the side planking. 2, and last one. Good. Rotate the palm towards the ceiling. You're going to lift the hips up, dip the hips down as you lower the arm, lift and open. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. 4 more. Hips still stay facing forward. 3, 2. Last time, you're going to pause with that arm and your hips at the top. Hold the side plank, lower the arm toward your side for 6, 5. I think we did 8 on the other side. 4 more. Resist up, resist down. 3, 2. And last one. Lower all the way down. Bring that weight over to the side. Bend your knees in closer to your body. Reach up and over through that left side. Really let yourself settle into this side bend. And then bend and reach that left arm away as you twist and rotate your body towards the floor. And then rotate yourself back towards the side. Lower your arm all the way down. Bring your weights off to the side. And then you're going to come onto all fours to finish. Tuck the toes under. And then find length through the spine. Curl the tailbone under. Round your biggest cat yet. And then find that extension, keeping the toes curled under with a little stretch through your feet. And find your neutral. Take a big inhale. And then exhale. Lift your hips. Find a down dog. Knees are nice and bent. Heels can be lifted a whole bunch. Just finding that length through the spine. A little stretch through the backs of your legs. And then you're going to bend your knees. Bring them nice and wide. Toes towards one another. And then walk your hands all the way out in front of you. Let your chest sink down towards the floor. You can rock back and forth from one side on your forehead. Take a few deep breaths, finding space across both the front and back of your body, your ribs expanding in all 360 degrees. Melt towards the floor. And then keeping your head heavy, you're just going to roll yourself all the way up. Let your head be the last thing to lift. Bring your knees a little closer together. And then peel your spine up one vertebrae at a time so you're nice and stacked. Lift the arms up overhead. Interlock your fingers, or your thumbs rather. Side bend over to the right, keeping a little extra weight in that right or left sitting bone. Back up to the center, over to the left. Weight in the right sitting bone. Back to the top. Externally rotate the palms. Let the arms sink down. And then slowly press down. Feel the crown of your head grow tall as your arms find your place by their sides. And you are all finished. Thanks.